What's up, y'all? It's me, it's your boy, Asmongold, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to become a real PvP arms warrior. Now, a lot of people were asking me after I put out some battleground footage, you were sending me PMs, and you were asking me, I'm just going to paraphrase here, how do I get good? And so in this video, we're going to answer that question. We're going to look at gear, talents, transmog, and rationalizations for poor performance. If you guys want to know what it takes, you have come to the right place. Now, the first thing, of course, is what stats you want, which translates into what gear you need to get. Now, the main stat, the best stat, the one stat to rule all other stats is mastery. It makes your execute, mortal strike, and something else that doesn't matter do more damage. You want to make sure mastery is on every single piece of gear. You don't have a piece of gear with mastery on it? It sucks. It's real simple. Now, besides that, you want to have crit and versatility on your gear. Now, they're kind of neck and neck. And some people think versatility is better. Some people think crit is better. That's kind of up to you. And multi-strike is below those two, and it's an okay stat. And haste, it sucks. And so the next thing we're going to look at is your abilities. Now, you've got a few abilities, and I do really just mean a few. The first ability is going to be Rend. Now, Rend is a dot. Nobody actually wanted Rend back in the game, by the way, but it is. And whenever Rend expires, it does a large amount of damage. If you refresh Rend with 5 seconds left or on the duration, it will still do the maximum amount of damage. And so you want to make sure that you know that. And also, you want to have Rend apply to your target at pretty much all times, unless your target is going to die before Rend expires. Now, the next ability, the main ability in the entire spec, is Mortal Strike. And I'm just going to give you guys a scenario here. Mortal Strike is off cooldown, okay? This is what you do. You put it on cooldown every single time. You want to use Mortal Strike whenever it is off cooldown. Now, the next ability is your filler ability, and it's called Whirlwind. Now, people might ask. They might ask, Asmongold, Whirlwind is an AoE ability. Why? Is it really our filler ability? Yeah, it's your filler ability, so you want to be using it whenever there's nothing else up. Sorry. And the next ability, the big ability, this is it. This is why I play the game, is Execute. Execute, you want to be using Execute. You want to know why? Because it kills people every single time. Use it every single time it's up. Is amazing. It's the one ability that makes the spec good, and that is it. That's why you have Mastery. That's why you do everything is just for those one Executes. That's it. Execute kills people. It is true to its name. It is the one, like, Execute ability that is it's the best in the game, okay? It better be the best in the game. It's the name. Okay, and so anyway, we're going to look at the talents, all right? Now, the first tier of talents, you want to make sure that you have either Double Time or Juggernaut. I use Double Time because it is a good way for me to make up for my own mistakes. A lot of other high-rated warriors use Juggernaut, so that's kind of up to you. Now, the next tier of talents, you definitely probably want to be using, Enrage Regeneration. And Enrage Regeneration you can use while you're stunned, and it's an on-demand heal. It is very good. Impending Victory sucks, and a Second Wind is only good if you're soloing Molten Core. Now, the next tier of talents you want to have is Sudden Death. Now, that's actually what you want to happen, and your opponents to die suddenly. Now, ironically, with this talent, that will never happen, but it will take you a lot closer to that happening than the other two, so that's why you want to get it. Now, for your 60 talents, you probably want to get Stormbolt if you're fighting a caster team and they're not going to be near you, and you want to be using Shockwave if you're fighting like maybe a melee team, or like you're doing 5s or you're doing Battlegrounds. Shockwave is a little bit better because, of course, it stuns for a longer duration, and it's reduced if you hit 3 or more targets. And so, obviously, if you're going to be in a position to be hitting 3 or more targets regularly, you want to go with Shockwave. Now, Safeguard is your best 75 option, in my opinion. Now, if you're fighting against the caster team, obviously you want to be using Mass Spell Reflect, but that's kind of up to you, and it depends on, I guess, like your own play style. And you want to be using Vigilance sometimes, but not usually. Vigilance is an on-demand. It's on-demand, and so, like Safeguard, you can only use Safeguard if you're not rude, and if your target is, I guess, like kind of close to you, but you can use Vigilance pretty much at a very long range, and also reduces damage by 30% instead of 20% with Safeguard. But if you're using Safeguard semi on cooldown, it's going to give you more DR over, I guess, like the period of time that Vigilance is on cooldown, because it's a 2-minute cooldown. Now, you want to be using Avatar if you're doing like 3s, or basically if you're going to be focusing down one target, and you want to be using Bladestorm. I use Bladestorm all the time just because it's fucking awesome, right? And your 100 talent, very important. You want to be using Anger Management, because if for no other reason, because after you play a warrior, you're going to need it. Now, your glyphs are actually pretty simple here. You want to be using Bull Rush because it gives you more rage to do more damage, real simple. And you also want to be using Shattering Throw if you're fighting against either a mage or paladin, and obviously to remove Ice Block or a Bubble. Now, besides that, is really kind of situational. You can use Glyph of Spell Reflection if you're fighting against a caster in like a 1v1 situation. But if you're doing, by the way, if you're doing a 1v1 situation as a warrior, you're probably going to lose. Real simple. And other thing, you could also use Glyph of Flawless Defense that makes Die by the Sword, I guess, like give you a 25% less chance to take critical strikes. And so that's really good if you're getting focused a lot. And let's see, what is it? Oh, Glyph of Gag Order. Glyph of Gag Order is good if you actually know how to pummel, but if you actually know how to pummel and you're good at that, you're probably not watching this video. And the last one, of course, is Glyph of Heroic Leap, and whenever you Heroic Leap, it increases your speed. So if you want to go fast, go ahead and get the Glyph of Heroic Leap. Now, the next thing is your rotation, and your rotation, that's the thing that you use in between Blade Storms. Now, your rotation is really kind of simple because, of course, you have very few abilities. You charge, and then in your first GCD, you probably want to apply Rend and also Hamstring at the same time because Hamstring is off the GCD, and that's going to pretty much line you up so you can do a Colossus Smash. And I didn't talk about Colossus Smash earlier. Colossus Smash is really simple. If you use Colossus Smash, all the other abilities while you have Colossus Smash on your target do more damage. It's real simple. So if you have like all your cooldowns up, use Colossus Smash, then use Mortal Strike. And so as soon as Mortal Strike, as soon as you put Colossus Smash on your target, then in the next GCD you put Mortal Strike, and then hopefully, usually whenever you engage a target and you have Sudden Death will proc as soon as you get into combat, and so you'll be able to use a Sudden Death proc, and then maybe a couple of Whirlwinds. It's just really important to make sure that you always have something to use in every single GCD whenever you have a Colossus Smash up. Now outside of that, outside of Colossus Smash, you want to make sure that you're just using Mortal Strike on cooldown. Make sure you keep Rend up. You might want to Rend a couple of other targets, and you're just whirlwinding, especially if there are other people around, just to do as much pressure and damage as possible. Now, you might ask, I mean, is it really that simple? Well, yeah, I mean, if you can play a class with the Super Nintendo controller, it really can't be that hard. Now, a couple of questions that people have is, for one, I kind of answered this a little bit ago, but are warriors good at 1v1? No, they're not good at 1v1. If you're dueling somebody, you're probably going to lose. And if you're dueling a hunter, you're definitely going to lose. By the way, in terms of minor glyphs, this reminded me, minor glyphs, you want to make sure you have Glyph of Crow's Feast, because whenever you see crows, you're going to die, and if you've ever played against a hunter, you know that, and so whenever you use your execute, crows come out, so it's kind of the same thing, but of course sudden death executes don't really do that much damage. They're like fake executes, and so you really don't want to have to ever put yourself in a position where you're in a 1v1 with anything as a warrior, and as a Fury warrior, 1v1 situations are not quite as bad, but they're really just, I mean, warriors just suck at 1v1. That's really all it comes down to. Now, the next question, the really important question, is what transmog should I use? Now, your transmog should have spikes, it should be red, and it should be black. Now, of course, you can't always be in a perfect world, but at least one of the above will be good enough. Now, guys, I know this is a lot to take in, and you know, playing an arms warrior, there's a lot of finesse to it, and I know that obviously you can just face roll. I mean, you really probably can face roll and get up to about 1800, which is really easy, but it's just all about the skill shots. It's like if you see somebody at low health, like you'd be like an execute machine, you know, like you're looking for people, 20%, you see somebody at 20%, boom, execute. See somebody at 20%, boom, execute, 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 execute. Every single time. That's what I'm going to be doing every single time. Execute spec is completely built around execute. Do it every single time, and the other abilities don't even matter, okay? Execute, that's like you just rename your warrior to execute, and it's going to be basically the same thing. And remember, guys, last thing I want to tell you guys, remember, if the answer isn't execute or blade storm, then you are asking the wrong question. And so that's pretty much all I got. Like, I know this was not as detailed as you guys need to be, as you guys would want to be, as maybe it needed to be, and so I can do a more in-depth guide with, like, you know, like when to hit execute, which by the way is all the time, and also maybe a couple of other things too. But I think I messed up my webcam a little bit whenever I was doing execute, and that's what I do, by the way. Like, whenever I do execute, I actually do like that. Okay, it's really important you guys do that. Like, you bind execute to spacebar so you can hit it with both hands at the same time. And so, guys, that's pretty much all I got. And I'll do some battleground footage if you want. Just let me know. That's pretty much all I got. Thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.